Ever since the Minnesota Vikings released four-time Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook, the question was, where was Dalvin going to sign, and why was it his hometown Miami Dolphins, where it made all the sense in the world, especially since Dalvin played well against Miami last year, 53-yard touchdown to really cap off the win. Never sleep on, hey, that guy played well against a scouting, and it would just be a nice way for him to wrap up his career in front of his hometown fans and all that stuff. And also the Dolphins were the team that was linked to the Vikings in the offseason early on about a potential trade, never really materialized before the Vikings ultimately released Dalvin a couple weeks ago. And Dalvin, adding more fuel to the fire, Dalvin was recently on SiriusXM radio talking with Amber Theo Harris, who does great work on Thursday Night Football, as well as former Vikings GM Rick Spielman, where it's a little bit surreal. So Dalvin left his mark on this franchise. Spielman obviously did too, but it's weird seeing free agent running back Dalvin Cook talking to, I guess, free agent GM Rick Spielman. And also Amber Theo Harris. Is she tied to the Vikings? Was she a former backup quarterback? Was she a backup during the Farrat and T-Jack years? Rest in power? Possible. Who knows, man? But the key quote from this interview was Dalvin, when asked about potentially joining the Dolphins, quote, "It'd be a perfect fit, and the roster, like you said, speaks for itself," end quote. And also he talked about how he wants to go somewhere to help get a team over the hump, win that ring, win a Jerome Barty, as well as he talked about having a reduced role and reduced carries, which is interesting because he didn't talk about reduced money. That's for sure. Also, another key quote to come out of this, Dalvin said, quote, "As a running back, you look for a certain scheme. I know the scheme I'm good in, and that's outside zone, which is what the Miami Dolphins run, so it would be a perfect fit." And that's exactly what we've been saying for a while, that Mike McDaniel on the Dolphins, they do run that outside zone scheme, him coming from the Shanahan tree, and it does make sense. And even though they re-signed veterans Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and drafted Devin Akane, the speedster from Texas A&M, I mean, Dalvin would walk in day one and be the best running back and would command that room. Also, they have the cap space to do it. This is from before he got cut because we listed the draft picks too for 2024. But anyways, that really doesn't matter. But Dalvin, he should have some suitors in free agency. I think a lot of teams are doing their due diligence, but the question is, can they agree on a price? Because Dalvin and his agents have talked about how they want a significant deal, and they're probably looking for $8, $9, $10 million per season. But are teams willing to pay that? Especially since in terms of veteran running backs on the market, you do have Leonard Fournette, you do have Zeke Elliott, you do have Kareem Hunt, and even though obviously I think that Dalvin has more left in the tank than those guys, do you want to pay Dalvin $10 million, or would you rather pay Zeke Elliott $3 million, or Kareem Hunt $2 million, or Leonard Fournette $2.5 million, somewhere in there? So I think that the Dolphins make sense. I think the Broncos actually make a lot more sense. Same thing with potentially the Jets, but we'll see. And again, Mike McDaniel, I think he's salivating at the potential of getting Dalvin in and also having Dalvin on a reduced role, which will keep him fresher late in games, fresher late in the season as well. But the money's got to be right. And Dalvin still has a $2 million guaranteed from the Vikings this year, or whether it's with the Vikings or with his new team, so he can actually just sit back and hammer those checks if it gets to that point. But I don't know, is he going to be in a camp before training camp? I don't know. I really don't know, and I think it will ultimately come down to a couple $1 million here or there, but I think Dalvin still has something left in the tank, and I think that Dalvin on the Dolphins, if Tua can stay healthy, given the weapons there, as well as that solid defense, I mean, the AFC East is stacked, but I the Dolphins certainly would have a fighting chance in that spot. But your thoughts are thoughts. Dalvin Cook went on SiriusXM radio talking about potentially signing with the Dolphins, saying it would be a perfect fit. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once worth the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.